This is Cheyenne Valentine back today again, a new episode. I have a little headache, so bear with me. I'm kind of out of it. But this video is going to be called, Why Do Some Black Women Not Give Approachable Vibes? Again, why do some black women not give approachable vibes? Now, there's one guy, a young gentleman in my comment section who said, I rarely get approachable vibes from black women in comparison to other races. Sometimes I think y'all are too proud to reciprocate interest. Okay, so I had a lot to say about that, and not in a rude way. I tried to explain why some black women don't give approachable vibes, but I'm going to talk about in this video. So there was a young lady, and I asked her permission to read her comment in this video. Her comment was perfect to me because I'm long-winded, so it just summed up everything in a nutshell. And I replied back to him with almost 2 paragraphs, and she just summed it right up and summed up what I was trying to say. And so her comment it just got straight to the point. It was great. And basically it says, and I probably won't read it verbatim, but it basically said, I'm so used to black men approaching me aggressively, whether I appear interested or not, that I assume he's not interested if he doesn't approach. Correct. Also, if you so much as look at many black men, they take it as an invitation to approach and get angry if the woman isn't actually interested. I normally avoid eye contact with them because so often it leads to a lot of insults or some other unwanted attention when I'm not interested. I just realized recently that other men don't operate this way. I mean, perfect comment. Like I said, I didn't read it verbatim, but anyway. So let me break down what she said. I mean, what she said was self-explanatory, right? But before I get into this, let me first say that, and I'm not saying he's doing this, okay, I'm not accusing him of doing what I'm about to say, but I think, okay, so to me, there's 2 types of black guys in this scenario, right? There's the black guy that does feel that some black women are not approachable, like they don't give off approachable vibes, they don't flirt, they don't show interest, and so he doesn't even bother. He's like, oh, I'm not gonna bother. I'm gonna go to a woman who comes off as if she, as if I was to approach her, she won't reject me. And then so then he might go, like he said, to a non-black woman, because for him, he says, those women seem approachable. Okay, and then there's the other set of black guy who doesn't like black women. He doesn't. They're not his preference, and so he says that, okay, black women are not approachable, so that's why they don't approach them. They don't even bother, and they say, well, that's why I go to I try to talk to non-black women, because they actually show interest, and they give me the confidence to come up to them because they seem like they won't reject me, or if they do reject me, they seem as if they will not be mean about it. And see, this set of black men, while what they're doing is they're using the fact that some black women do come off unapproachable, and I'm going to tell you why that is, but some black women do. But the thing is, they already don't want to date black women, so they're using it as an excuse. Why? And you might say, what do I mean? What I mean by this is that some other races of women don't come off as approachable either, but they still approach them. I'm gonna give you a prime example. I saw this firsthand one time. I was at the mall with my significant other. We were in line, and it was a white girl in front of us. She was not smiling. Now, why am I bringing up her not smiling? One of the things that men say they would like for women to do is smile more to make them feel confident and secure enough to walk up to them. So if a woman is smiling, the guy feels more, he feels more at ease to approach her. If she's looking mean or angry, he's like, oh, she's having a bad day, I'm not going to bother her. Okay, so one of the ways you can show that you're open to being approached and that you're in a good mood is to smile. This white woman was not smiling. Now, she didn't look evil or anything, but she wasn't like most people. Most people do not walk around with a smile on their face. So when men tell women to smile, it really gets under my skin, because I don't even see men smiling. I don't see men smiling either. So when they tell women to smile, it gets on my nerve because you're not smiling either. So why? I don't get it. So anyway, she was standing in front of us, and she wasn't unattractive. Okay, she wasn't unattractive. She was decent looking from what I can remember. And she was young, and a young black guy walked up to her and tried to talk to her, and she just looked at him and was just like, it was an awkwardness between them. She looked stunned, he looked thirsty, and she just like shook her head no and just kind of looked at him weird, and then she turned back around and he walked off like he just kind of walked off. And the thing about it is that she did not give off approachable vibes. She was in front of us looking up at the menu. So if looking up at a menu, not smiling, is an approachable vibe, then I'm confused, because I thought approachable vibe is when someone smiles, when they give you eye contact and hold it and smile again. And another approachable vibe is just like you said, their body language. But if they're not saying anything, the only thing you can get from them that would come off as approachable would be, I guess, them smiling at you and holding your eye contact and smiling. That'd be how else? What else is approachable? How else can they tell you they're open for interest, or tell you that they're interested if they're not opening their mouth? All right. So so I'm not saying he's like this. With him, very well, it could be he likes black women, but some of them don't come off as approachable, so he goes to other races of women, and it's easier or whatever. But some black men are lying when they say, I don't talk to black women because they're not approachable. That's why I go to non-black women, because they're easier to approach. I have seen them firsthand go up to a white girl who was not smiling, who was looking up at a menu, who wasn't paying him no attention. She was not giving an approachable vibe, and he went up to her and got shot the hell down in front of everybody. He walked off looking stupid. Okay, so I just think some black men think other races of women are a little bit easier, or just I don't know what the hell they think. But anyway, let me get to it. So now that I got that out of the way, what she said was 100% correct. Okay, so to the men that are listening to this, why do some black women why do some black women not give off approachable vibes? When you say approachable vibes, I'm assuming you mean smile at you, hold your eye contact. Those are the two main ways a woman can show she's interested if she's not talking to you. If she's talking to you, obviously, approachable vibe. I wouldn't even call this a vibe. If she's flirting with you, she's clearly making it known she's feeling you, right? So you might say, let's take the flirting out of. Let's take her actually approaching you, because when you say approachable vibe, don't you mean a signal that she gives off to you that she's open for your interest, then you approach, right? I'm not talking about a woman coming up to you. In this video, I'm talking about when you're coming up to a woman and how she gives you a signal, a choosing signal, letting you know that she's interested in you, or that if you was to approach, she wouldn't shoot you down, right? So you might say, why do some black women not do this? Okay, first of all, like this young lady said, a lot of black women are used to black men approaching them. Okay, now there's two different types to me of black men that do approaching. It's just the black men who are confident, and the other set of black men are the black men who are overly aggressive. Overly aggressive to me means when you come up to a female and you ask her, when you come up to a female, you try to talk to her and you say, can I get your phone number? I think you're pretty. And she says, thanks for the compliment, but I have a boyfriend, so I can't give you my number. And he says, well, are you happy with him? That's one of the things they will say to a woman. Or if you say the old school thing they used to say when you would tell a guy, I have a boyfriend, he would say, I don't want to I don't want to be your boyfriend, I just want to be your friend. Or I actually had a guy say to me, you got a boyfriend? Well, he was like, I got a girlfriend, so it's cool, we can still exchange numbers. I said, excuse me? So you're a cheater? And then we were arguing like for 5 minutes. Okay. And I said, so you would cheat on your girlfriend? He's like, well, no, I didn't say that. I said, yes, you are planning on cheating with her because you want my number and you want to be more than friends. He said, no, I just want to be your friend. I'm like, you're lying. So we were arguing for about 5 minutes. Okay. And he did not get my number because I don't cheat. So anyway, I'm not like him. So there's two sets of black men that approach black women. And it's the ones who are confident. And confident means basically he can handle rejection. Because you have to understand something, men. When you approach women, if you're not approaching women because you're scared of rejection, then you might as well not apply for a job. Okay, because when you apply for a job, do you get every job you apply for? But one thing I will say, applying for a job is kind of like dating. If you look on Indeed, I don't know how you all look for jobs, but a lot of people go on Indeed to find a job. So the employer has to put out, or the recruiter has to put out a request and post a job saying, you know, I have this job, blah blah blah. This is what I'm looking for. So then you apply for it, and they have to make a decision if they want to, you know, accept you. So it's kind of like that in the dating world, where yes, you're right, man. When women do it will help a lot, put out choosing signals, or give you, a choosing signal, or give off approachable vibes, so you will feel comfortable coming up to her, so that you can know she's on the market, that she's open to that. So I get you on this, and I'm trying to explain why some black women don't do this. So like I said, black women are used to two types of black men, and most black women get approached by a lot of black guys, okay? And so one is the confident black guy who doesn't mind rejection. So think of it like this, man. If you go up to, expect to get shot down 90% of the time, possibly, until you improve some things or whatever. Don't take it personal unless you just, you know, first try to see what you can improve on, so you can change that percentage. But look at things as go with the 10% rule with everything. Like if you apply to jobs, do the 10% rule. Do you get every job you apply for? Do you get a call back? No. Okay, so just use the 10% rule. So if you use the 10% rule, then you won't get hurt every time you get rejected. Rejection is a part of life. So like I said, the first type of black man is a black man who's confident. The second type of black man is the overly aggressive one. Now, men, black women are used to some very overly aggressive men. These overly aggressive men, like I said, they would just keep probing you. They'll say, oh, I just want to be your friend. You can tell them you have a boyfriend, but they'll say, I just want to be your friend. Oh, you got a boyfriend? Are you happy with him? They won't let up. My boyfriend was at a bar one time, and he said he seen a dude try to talk to multiple females, but the females were at different parts of the bar, so the females couldn't see him talking to different women, and he had his arm all around, all in their face. It is some very aggressive men out here, and naturally women like aggressive men. But what has happened with black women, we have gotten used to overly aggressive men. We're used to the confident black man. That's the one we like. But that overly aggressive one, he doesn't let up. He's in a batch with the rest of them. So unfortunately, black men who aren't as aggressive or who aren't confident, you all have to compete with those men for black women, because black women they're used to responding to those men. So let me explain to you what that means. Since black women are used to confident and like I said, it's two different types of black men that approach black women. It's the confident one and it's the overly aggressive one. The confident one, you tell him that you have a boyfriend. He said, okay, you have a nice day. He'll walk away. He's confident because he approached. But he's respectable enough to walk away when he sees you're not interested, or that you can't, you're not going to cheat. So he walks off. Okay, so that I respect him. The overly aggressive one, he doesn't let up. This one lady said she was in New York and she ran into a dude that was so aggressive. She said she was in fear for her life, that she got off the train and he wanted to get with her. He got really close in her face. This has happened to me too, where guys gotten really close in my face trying to talk to me. And this has happened to a lot of black women. And she said he kept walking towards her to where her back ended up against the wall. He had her like pinned in a corner. And she said she wrote the number down and gave it to him because she was scared to not give it to him. He was that aggressive. But guess what, everybody? That turned her on. You want to know why? Because when a man is confident and he shows extreme interest, that makes a woman feel wanted. That makes her feel pretty. I'm sorry. Women like to feel pretty and wanted. Okay? And that's in a woman's nature. Women like attention. So a man cannot expect to get women if he doesn't approach. Okay? So black women are used to these overly aggressive and confident black men. So when you don't say nothing to her, she just assumes that you're not interested. Okay, she just assumes that. She's not thinking that you are. You're just waiting for her to give you approachable vibe. Okay, now that is, in a nutshell, that's mainly why black women don't give approachable vibes, because we didn't know we had to. This is something we have to learn now, because we're not used to purposely smiling at a guy, holding his eye contact, winking at him, keep walking past him, and then when he looks at us, look at him and smile. We're not used to doing that because we never had to. Okay, that's just like men. If you rode public transportation, didn't have a car, and you was able to get women who look drop dead gorgeous to get with you. Let's say if you were on public transportation and women seen you getting off the bus, knew you didn't have a car, and beautiful women were still coming up to you. Okay, coming up to you, asking for your number. When you hang out with them the first night, they were giving you sex. And let's say this happened to you a lot of times. When you start to expect that treatment, and also, would you change anything you were doing? Would you go get a car now? You should want a car, but I'm saying, would you go run and get a car if you was taking public transportation, but you was able to get all these women you wanted? You might want a car for other reasons, but you know that getting a car in your particular situation is not, in your particular situation, you was able to get what you wanted from the opposite sex without you having to upgrade to a car. Okay, so that's just like with black women. We are used to dealing with black men, and some black men, like I say, fall in two categories: the confident one and the overly aggressive one. Okay, and when you're used to that as black women, we just adapted to that. So and this goes for me very heavily. Whenever I'm around a guy, and he sees me regularly and he doesn't try to flirt with me or talk to me, I just automatically assume he doesn't like me. I literally, it's like a switch. I'm like, oh, he doesn't like me. And it's not that I want to like me. I just assume it because I'm just so used to, if a guy likes me, he tells me. He approaches. Most black women will tell you this. Okay. So for you, okay, so I'm gonna get to some other things. Okay. So the guy said, in response to what I said, okay, because I made a mistake in my reply to him. I just mentioned overly aggressive men, but I meant to say there's two types of black men that approach black women. It's the confident one, it's the overly aggressive one. So he responded by saying, I understand what you're saying, but that's a recipe to attract players. I guess it's perspective. In my social circle, it's only the lower tier guys, women call them creeps, that approach women with uninviting body language. It looks desperate. They come off as bothersome, sometimes harassing, and they tend to get rejected more than they are successful. For me, communication is a big deal, so I only go for women that make themselves available to me. I think most guys think the way I do. Overly aggressive males are a red flag, in my opinion. Look, I agree 100% of what he said. However, what I do want to say is that I don't want to interchange the two. I don't want it to come off that if a man is willing to approach a woman and she's not giving off choosing signals, that he is desperate and he's overly aggressive and he's a lower tier guy. He could just be a confident guy, which is what women like. Okay, confident men still approach women who don't give off an inviting body language. Okay, and so let's get that straight too. But in the same token, some of the lower tier men that he's talking about, the dudes who are thirsty, that will go up to anybody that's overly aggressive, a lot of times those men are trash. I'm sorry, they're trash. So see, with black women, we have a dilemma, because those really aggressive men that are, I'm not talking about the confident black men, I'm talking about, y'all know them really aggressive black men that were, like she said, let me go back to her comment when she said, with some of these black men, if you so much as look at them, then they think you want them, and then they think that's an invitation to approach, and then they come over, and then when you are not interested, they get angry. So she said she just avoid eye contact. It's really that bad and out here. And I remember one time when they used to have Bally's, the workout place Bally's, I was in line. I was in the water fountain line, and I was about 3 people back. I was really thirsty, right? And it was a black guy. He walked past me. He was going down the hallway. And so I was looking down the hallway for some reason. I was not looking at him, but I was looking his direction. And he happened to turn, and I was looking that way. So he thought I was looking at him. And he just turned just to be looking back. And then when he seen me looking that way, he just turned, and then he did a double take. And I heard him turn my head around, because I knew what that double take look meant. Because when he turned the second time, his eyebrows lift like, oh, you want me? Okay, let me come over there. See, with some black men, they like she said, they're looking for a signal. And you can't even hold their eye contact. Okay, you can't even not even hold it, because if you're holding their eye contact and smiling, it's clearly you're interested. I'm talking about you can't even look at them. So a lot of times women don't even, so for you men who wonder why some black women don't even look at you or like look at you at all and they avoid eye contact, because of some of these other black men that are overly aggressive, pounce on women. She can't even, and God forbid if she's friendly to him, because I've gotten myself in a lot of trouble before and had to tell a dude, look, I don't like you like that, because I was friendly to him and he took that as I wanted him. Some of these black men, you can't be friendly to them. So like she said, most black women are just used to these really aggressive black men. Like I say, they're used to the confident or really aggressive black men. And because of this, okay, they just expect that if you want them, you're going to come. They just expect if you want them, you're going to come and get them. They just literally, and it's not an arrogance. They just assume it. Now, other races of men and just some other men in general, I don't think some other races of men, and other men don't necessarily operate like that. Like this gentleman said, he looks for choosing signals, and the men who usually be in every woman's face, or who, not every woman's face, a man who's super aggressive usually a lot of times can be playboys, and he's right. The overly aggressive ones, yeah. But a man who's confident, that if he's confident enough to approach, I'm not going to assume that he's a playboy just because he was confident to approach me and I wasn't looking at him at the time. My back maybe was to him, or I did make eye contact with him, but I just kind of turned around. And if he still approached, that just means he's confident. I'm not going to just assume he's overly aggressive. How I'm going to be able to tell the difference between a confident man and an overly aggressive man is how he responds to me when I'm talking to him. If I tell him I'm not interested and I have a boyfriend, if he doesn't get mad and he walks off and don't keep going back and forth, I know he just was confident. If he tries to wear me down, well, are you happy with him? Or blah, 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 then I know that he's overly aggressive and he hounds multiple women. I'm not going to assume because a guy is confident enough to approach a woman whose body language doesn't seem welcoming. Okay, I'm not going to assume because he's confident enough to do that he's a sleazeball. Okay, a sleazeball is a sleazeball. But though, see, to me, normally the real sleazeballs are those really overly aggressive black dudes. Them are the ones. And see, black women, because we have encountered these overly aggressive black men, it has put us at an disadvantage, because now we expect men to approach us. We assume that if he's not approaching us, then that means he doesn't like us, and that's totally not true. A guy can like you and not approach you. A lot of times they want you to show a signal. So a signal would be, now what I don't understand about the statement this gentleman made when he said in inviting body language. I don't know what that means. Now I know if the woman's arm is crossed and she's looking mean, that's uninviting, right? But when you said in inviting body language, I don't know what that means. Only thing I know is that most men I've heard said when a woman's smiling at him, or she has a smile on her face, and the biggest one is when she holds your eye contact and she smiles. That's a goal. That's a goal right there. So to the black women out here, I just want to tell you that there are men out here, some other black men and men of other races, who do not operate like that one particular category of overly aggressive black men. The confident black men, I'm cool with them. But them overly aggressive black men, they have messed up our head to where we assume most men act like them, and they don't. I don't know the percentage of men who are overly aggressive, but we just been used to those kind of men. And so just know that it's okay if you find a guy cute, okay, to smile at him and hold his eye contact. Make it be known. If he doesn't respond, walk away. But most men, even the ones who aren't overly aggressive or that confident, if you look at him and you smile, if you look at him, make sure you got his eye contact, and you look at him, you hold it, and you smile at him, and then you turn back around. If he thinks you're cute, he's on you. That's all you got to do. And no, it's not. And to the men, it's not that black women are prideful. We're just used to men approaching us. Okay, so if you all are upset about that, y'all need to say something to those overly aggressive men who don't respect y'all relationship when they come up to your girlfriend and she tells them that she's not interested because she has a boyfriend, and they keep hounding her and saying, are you happy? And you know, they keep hounding. And those men are also glad to be side dudes too. I just want to let y'all men know. So don't put it on the women and make it sound like we're being prideful and we're just being a jerk. It's not even like that. We're just used to men approaching us. And last thing too, I want to hit about the confident men. In the statement, the guy said, we look for signs that she's interested in and approach and we approach if she makes us feel confident. I want to say something. Women naturally like a confident man. So I don't know. I don't want this to come off rude. If you need her to make you feel confident to come up to her, that's the issue. You need to already be confident anyway. Now, I understand you need a choosing signal. And that's why I'm telling black women, if you're interested in a guy, it's not about being prideful. You need to understand that a lot of men, or a significant amount of men, are not like those overly aggressive black dudes. The black segment of dudes I'm talking about. Okay, they're not like them. So you're going to have to smile and hold a dude's eye contact to let him know. And then if he's interested, he will walk over. However, there are still black men who are confident. So I don't want people to make it seem like confident black men are sleazeballs and creepy. No, the creepy ones are those overly aggressive ones that don't walk away when you tell them to leave you alone, and the ones who literally come up to and the ones that come up to 10 women a day or 20 women a day. Y'all know them really aggressive ones. I'm not talking about them. Okay, they are creeps, playboys, and no good. But I don't want people to make it seem like a confident guy is automatically a creep or a playboy. Okay, what's wrong with confidence? Okay, so I just want to tell this gentleman that if you need confidence, a woman can't make you feel confident to come up to her. You have to naturally be confident in yourself in order to come up to her, because the thing is, you feel it's a waste of time and she's going to reject you. Yes, 90% of the time most men do get rejected. That is the way it is. And have you ever thought that it's not necessarily that something's wrong with you? Maybe it's just that she has a boyfriend or a husband. Have you ever thought about that? Why you men always assume that she thinks you're ugly and you ain't this and you ain't that? It's a lot. Understand something. It's a lot. Okay, you might not like rejection, or nobody does, but you might have to have choosing signals from her, which would be great. But some men don't need that, right? So the men that don't need major choosing signals from her are going to still approach women. So you men who need the woman to make you feel confident first, I'm just letting you know that you're getting beat out by the men who are already naturally confident. Okay, so if you keep waiting, so if you just want to go after women who just clearly shows a choosing sign, and then do that. But I also want to say that the ultimate choosing sign will be her coming up to you. Now, how many women do you run into that just literally comes up to you and try to talk to you? Probably not many, because women expect you to have the confidence already to approach her.